when Gordon Hayward went down in a heap, what did you think about the chances of the Celtics this season?
That they would still be able to keep their head above water, make the playoffs, perhaps win. Well, they won 53 last year. I would say, 48, 49, something. But make the playoffs, get a mid-range seed, maybe get lucky and get a 4. But they might be playing that first round on the road, the whole thing. But they weren't. They weren't stripped of talent, and I thought, if this, if that, and so forth. Here's the other thing, Rich. That's the one position that they had depth. They had real depth in numbers, and at that point they didn't have Marcus Morris yet, but we knew he was coming, and they were going to have some numbers at that position. But what's happened is beyond anyone's imagination so far. No one, starting with Brad Stevens, who's cautioning people, we have to play better offense, which is true, to keep this thing going. No one saw it coming. So, and finally, they had Irving. And this is going to, and I read at the time, okay, Kyrie, you wanted to be the man. Well, this is it for you. You got your chance now. And he's answered the bell.
DirecTV 4K NBA report here on the Rich Eisen Show. Bob Ryan, kind enough to call in to provide some insight here, certainly for the red-hot Boston Celtics here on the Rich Eisen Show. And in terms of the 15 wins, or just the 17 games that we've seen already for the Celtics, Bob, I mean, the season-opening loss, they still damn near won that game.
Yes.
In which Gordon Hayward went down, and you could just excuse that the team would be lost in that, and then certainly in the next game trying to figure out how to put all the pieces together. And then in this win streak, the fact that they beat the Warriors too. Now that was kind of the showstopper for me, because I'm looking to see how we are not all on the NBA Titanic ready to just hit that Warriors reef by June anyway, that we're just rearranging deck chairs until then. What did you read into that Celtics win against
First of all,
Golden
they came from 17 down with a 19-0 run. I think that stunned the people who follow that team. I was watching Twitter that night. They were having their minds were just screwed up. You want to use the F word, but you know what I mean. It was screwed up. Nobody runs a 19-0 run on the Warriors. But the Celtics did. They ran a 19-0 run, which means you need both ends of the floor to accomplish what you did, and they did it. And they got back in the game that way. And then, they showed the same kind of spunk, that they've shown again in other games. They've now come from 17 down 3 times in this streak, or 15 at least. I think 17 is true, but I might be wrong. But mid double-digit deficits have been overcome 3 times. Okay, I'll settle for that. And they did it against the Warriors, and who were at full strength. That night they were at full strength. Curry played. Curry was terrible. He was 3 for 14. Klay Thompson was 5 for 18. They were 8 for 32 between them. Meanwhile, Irving was 4 for 14 himself, so it wasn't so great. But they finally won the game though in a classic NBA fashion. They have the virtuoso superstar. He went to the basket. Nobody touched him. He went to the line, made 2 free throws. And if Terry Rozier had made that same drive to the basket, I promise you the whistle would not have blown. But that's why you want guys like that on your team.
Tonight, Indiana and Orlando. That is your DirecTV 4K NBA game of the week. 9-8 Indiana. And hey, the Orlando Magic don't get a lot of conversation. But they're right there at 500, 8-8 in a competitive Eastern Conference. It's live and stunning 4K Ultra HD. Tune into DirecTV 4K Channel 106 tonight at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific to catch all the action. The NBA DirecTV 4K Ultra HD game of the week.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.